Hey guys. So I felt like uh, redoing my Flare tutorial since it was kind of iffy and I know more about Flare now than I did back then, and a friend wanted me to do it, so here it is. And I guess let's get started. So I'm gonna go ahead and assume that you know which direction you're gonna be going. If you don't, then go the way of your sixth step. If you start with your left foot, that'll be the leg that you start with, and if you start with your right foot, that'll be the leg that you start with. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So what you're gonna want to do is stretch, and I'm just gonna assume that you've done that. Just do like a V down stretch, and stretch your wrists, because flares will hurt your wrists, especially if you don't practice and if you don't stretch them. So that's something you should work on. But anyway, so the actual move. It's not that difficult of a move, it just takes practice. So what you're going to do, I will be teaching it through going counterclockwise. So if you go clockwise, just do it the opposite hand and foot. So you're going to start out is you'll step back, not too far back where it's uncomfortable, just a little far back where your feet are diagonal. And what you're going to want to do is place, if you're going counterclockwise, your left hand down about shoulder width apart, not all the way up here or too close, because that'll mess up later on when you're doing the actual flare. So your palm will be facing down, and your fingertips will point to the left. And so you'll go down, set your wrist, your hand, and that'll be the first part. The second part is you will kick your left leg, it'll be straight towards your right. Don't kick your right leg, but bring it pretty close. And once it does, you will kick up with your left. Sorry, with your right. So, diagonal, hand down, kick to your right, and the right leg goes up. As soon as your right leg goes up, your hand should set. And your hands should sit about pretty close to this, and you want to keep your arm straight. You don't want to bend, because then that'll throw off your being able to hold yourself up. So, like a penguin or whatever. Yeah. So, I do a kick, so I find out where my comfortable spot is. It's not necessary. You're going to get as much of a flare of doing a kick or top rock as you would just stepping back. But anyway, so we step back, diagonal, hand down, fingertips facing to the side, kick, hand goes up, or leg goes up, and hand sets. When this one goes up and straight, you're going to kick your initial leg below your right, like this. Can't see. Like that. Set. And kick it below your right, and then up as high as you can. And that'll make a V shape like this. So it'll be like that. One of the key parts that people don't get for flare is that it is hand placement, the timing of your hands and your kick, and your hip rotation. It's pretty much you're doing a hula hoop motion with your hips, doing like pelvic thrusts. So if you're going, you step back, set, you'll throw your hips out, but don't throw them out too far that you're all the way over there and you can't clear your other leg. going like set and throw it all the way out here, there's no way that you can get back over here without losing a whole bunch of momentum and crashing. So, going back to the actual tutorial, diagonal, set hand, kick behind, this leg goes up, and you make it to your V. As soon as you reach like your max point where you try to kick your leg to your head, your secondary leg, which if you're going counterclockwise, will be your right leg. You'll bring it up under your left, and you'll end up in sort of this position. So start here, set, up in V, go down, and you end up like that. So, yeah. That's pretty much the basis of one flare. Some problems you might have is, again, wrist strength. Hip rotation is a big issue, so be sure that you don't throw yourself out too far. And when you're going, and I'll teach that in a little bit. So yeah, don't throw yourself out too far, and don't not use your hips, because that's the basis of flare. Another problem is keeping your legs straight. If you have them all crunched up, I'll show a flare with legs crunched up. You won't be able to clear anything, and you won't be able to throw your body up enough so that you have air in your air. So make sure you keep your legs straight and try to maintain a V as much as you can. I know that for my second flare and third flare, I end up kind of crunching in, so that's why they crash. Let's see. I said hand placement, just make sure that your arms stay straight. And there's a move you can do if you're just starting flare, which is, if you know the coffee grinder one-step helicopter goes forward, this, but you do it backwards. So show from behind, you'll go back, keep your legs straight, like the initial kick. So that's preparing you for that, to make sure that you keep your legs straight and getting the timing of lifting your secondary leg up. So, and it also gives you the hand motion, so you know how it will go. So if you can do about 3 of those, and it looks clean like this. So, sorry. Okay, so it looks clean like this. Then you should be good for getting like 3/4 of a flare. The only other part is to get your, sorry for slowing down so much, don't sound too smart. But if you're, sorry, I was having a brain fart. Okay, so whenever you have already done your initial kick, and you throw your hips and your right leg goes up for counterclockwise people, most people will crash right here, which is that stuff. That's because their hand is probably too far out. You want to keep it as close to your body as possible, and again, keeping your arms straight. You saw that mine was kind of bent. So that is the big factor. And if you already have a flare, a way to get continuous flare is where people mess up for going for a second or third flare, is they don't bring their hips back, because that's the secondary part of the hula hoop. You go forward and then back. So the further back you go, where it's comfortable, like that, then you'll have enough air to clear for your second flare. So compare these 2 flares to hopefully my second 2 flares. Okay, I couldn't get the second one because I went too low. But that's my point. You're going too low. But if you go and bring all the way back to like that, then you'll get your second one. But yeah. So that's pretty much it for all I can think of. Going over again, you don't have to kick. I do. Set feet diagonal to wherever you're comfortable. Hand facing down, palm and fingertips facing to the side, not down or up or like that, because that'd be really painful. But to the direction that your leg is. Initial kick, leg straight. When you reach your secondary leg, it'll kick up, and that'll be when you thrust your hips out. So thrust up, hand placement goes down, and your hand goes right next to yourself. Still kicking straight, kick your left initial leg up under. We'll maintain a V. And when you maintain your V, you kick this leg up to try to get yourself more elevated. Like, say you're just here, you kick up and go under. So that's probably where people mess up in this step after a V. So you're up, back. When you set your initial hand down again, that'll be when you pop yourself up into the back end hula hoop. So you're here, secondary leg goes up, initial hand goes down, you're back to here. So it's set, thrust forward, set, up, so that you can clear, and set. So that's the hula hoop motion. If you can practice that and get your hand placement right, then you're pretty much guaranteed 1 flare, and then getting your continuous flares will just be making sure that you get your hip rotation right, and well, all the other steps too. But it will take some time. I only have 2 flares or an average of 2 flares, and it's been 17 days. But that's because I make progress videos. It's good to make progress videos for seeing where you mess up, and if you don't see it, then other people can tell you. So that helps out a lot. Always record yourself, and yeah, I just hope you enjoy. Peace.